I, 30 male, was supposed to get married this summer. Our honeymoon was going to be in Italy. The wedding was cancelled. I don't want to get into it because this post isn't about the wedding. All I'm gonna say is that my sister doesn't like me because of it. My sister and my fiance were really close. They still spend time together, even though I told her I don't like it and that my ex really hurt me. My sister told me she didn't care. I tried talking to my parents about it, but they told me I need to get over it. I was having dinner with my parents. My dad mentioned my ex and sister dropping by earlier and having lunch with them. I was upset. My ex and I haven't spoken since she called off the wedding. So I assumed she came over for me. I pressed my parents for more information. They told me my sister and my ex were going on vacation together in the Amalfi Coast. That was supposed to be our honeymoon. I felt sick to my stomach that my ex was taking my sister on our honeymoon. She got mad at this and called me an a-hole. She told me she's allowed to have friends. She doesn't need my permission for anything. She told me she loves me, but she can't put her life on hold for me. I wasn't asking her to put her life on hold, just not go on my honeymoon and not be friends with my ex. I always knew she had a little crush on my ex, and I told her my ex isn't gonna date her, not even out of desperation. She hung up on me and refused to call me back. I guess she told my parents because the next day both of them told me how disappointed they were in me. They told me it was a low blow, and I need to get over myself. I didn't expect them to take sides at all, but they're refusing to see my point of view. Both my sister and my ex refused to speak to me, so I need to know if I really messed up or if they're overreacting. So, Reddit. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Since it apparently matters, I didn't cheat on my ex. She thinks I did because she's refusing to listen to my side of the story. I was having a weekly lunch with an old friend from high school, and when my ex found out, she assumed I was cheating. She only thought this because it was one of my ex-girlfriends. I didn't tell my fiance who I was meeting because I didn't want her to get jealous or upset. It was only supposed to be one lunch, but it became a weekly thing and it was already too late to say anything. Edit number 2. I never cheated or had an affair. My ex, sister, and fiance knew each other when they were in high school. My fiance and sister didn't like my ex-girlfriend because she was mean. That's why I didn't say anything. Yes, the a-hole. Based off your replies, the money you spent on wedding and honeymoon are paid back to you. You don't get to tell your sister where she can go and with who. It's not your honeymoon anymore, just holiday. Your being super cagey about the reason for the cancelled wedding leads me to believe you're the reason behind it for doing something crappy, cheating, lying, etc. So you have no say in what she does with her life or her holiday. Right? He thinks because him and his ex didn't have he didn't do anything wrong by lying and having regular meetups with an ex-girlfriend. Yes, the a-hole, big time. OP omitted that info because he knew he ducked up, and this is his fault. Edited to add. He lied on a regular basis about the innocent meetups, so how is anyone to believe anything he says now? You made your bed, lie in it. Yes, the a-hole. You want to be best friends with ex number 1 and expect your fiance to be cool with it, but your sister isn't allowed to be friends with ex number 2. Either it's inappropriate to be friends with exes, or it isn't. You don't get to have it both ways. I have 2 kiddos and a third on the way. This pregnancy was already hard for me. I announced it in the group chat. We have a family group chat where we all post. Significant others of family members are allowed. And on the same day, my younger sister announced her engagement. Everyone forgot about my pregnancy, and it already hurt. My brother put his girlfriend of a year in there, and they live an aimless life of travel and party in some exotic country. So, a lot of vacation photos nobody wants to see. One of my kids broke his arm, and I've been updated daily, and also keeping the family update on pregnancy. My brother was already being a terrible uncle because the second he met this girl, he basically disappeared and stopped answering my calls and updates. I feel the group is the only time I have his attention, and I don't want to ruin it by having her share photos of some third world country. I blocked her from the group because I am the admin. She can't make posts and distract everyone from the happy news anymore. My brother is telling me I am cruel. I think it's only a group chat. She shouldn't take it so personally. He wants me to say sorry. I said I will not until he steps up as an uncle. Am I the a-hole? Yes, the a-hole. Not everyone is interested in seeing updates about your pregnancy or your child's broken arm. It's not your first child either. It's your third. You announced your news, and that's all that needs to happen. A lot of people would also describe your pregnancy updates in the same way you describe your brother and his girlfriend's vacation photos. Nobody wants to see or hear the updates from you. You're mad because you're not getting attention. Get over it. Evidently, a lot of people don't want to constantly hear your updates either. Yes, the a-hole. You are not the center of the universe, and you sound attention-seeking and jealous. People aren't being distracted from your daily updates. They just aren't as invested as you, and are probably bored as hell at your 24/7 need for attention over your third pregnancy and a broken arm. It's a family chat. You're treating it like your personal one-way news channel. Yes, the a-hole. Why are daily updates on a broken arm more interesting than new places? Even if they aren't interesting to you, your brother and his girlfriend have just as much right to give your family daily updates about their lives as you do. Their lives just look different than yours. Also, why should your kids be your brother's priority? Your brother has no responsibility to your children as an uncle, unless he wants to. You chose to have the kids. He didn't. If it's only a group chat, I hope you don't mind when they all make another one. My husband and I own a beachfront property and recently got new neighbors. The neighbors are a young couple with a baby boy. This week, my daughter and her kids came to our beach house for a kids' spring break. The couple was also using their house this week. Our houses share a path down to the private beach, so our beach setups tend to be fairly close together. The day was going fine. My grandkids were having a blast at the beach. The other couple were using the beach as well. At one point, however, the wife started to breastfeed their baby. She was wearing a strapless bathing suit, meaning she couldn't keep one breast covered as she fed, or at least she didn't really try. Both were completely exposed. On top of that, she was sitting in between her husband's legs, and he was rubbing her back and kissing her shoulders as this was happening. I've noticed that they are a very affectionate couple, but with how exposed she was and how he was touching her, the whole display felt very S. Both my granddaughter and my grandson are very curious, so they couldn't look away. Neither could my daughter's husband, which I could tell was starting to bother my daughter. I decided to go up to the couple to protect my family. I asked the wife if she could please not do that in the beach in front of my grandkids, as I felt it wasn't appropriate. The wife seemed to be very apologetic, but her husband simply told me to duck off, which I felt was really rude. I told them that their house was right there, and it would have been super easy for her to just run back up to the house to do that. Later, my husband pulled me aside and said that I was being extremely rude, and that I should have just let them be. I think he was just enjoying the show as well. Am I the a-hole? Yes, the a-hole. You earned that duck off in full. She was feeding her child. That's it. It doesn't matter if you think it was an S display, because it wasn't. Maybe instead you should have told your son-in-law to put his eyes back in his head instead of going after someone caring for their child. He was the one doing something wrong, and you managed to completely ignore that so you can step out of your lane. Yes, the a-hole. You could have easily said to the grandkids, A, don't stare, it's rude, and B, that's how mummies feed babies. Your son-in-law was being a perv, and your daughter should have said something to him, especially if it was bothering her. Me, male 37, and my wife, female 35, have been married 7 years. She's always been very romantic, and I have not. For some reason, our 7th anniversary was a big deal for her, favorite number, etc. She's told me this quite a few times during our marriage. When we first got married, we were both students, and I couldn't afford to pay for a wedding, so we had a very simple and small service. She graduated first and was able to support us through my last couple of years of studying. Recently, she has taken a few months sabbatical during which I have provided for us. Anyways, to the actual point. A few months back, my wife suggested that we could celebrate our anniversary with friends and family this year, since we never had a proper wedding. I agreed. I asked about it a few times over the next few months, and she didn't seem too bothered with it, so I gave up. Our anniversary was yesterday, and I had made brunch plans with a friend that I don't see too often. I realized the night before that it was going to be our anniversary, but I went ahead with my plans. On my way home, I got her some roses and chocolates. She was upset when I got home and didn't appreciate my gift at all. She read the ingredients on the chocolates and stated it had nuts, which she is allergic to, and that good on me for keeping up the tradition, as this was the 3rd time in as many years that I got her chocolates with nuts. She left and stayed out the rest of the day. Today we had a long fight over the issue, and she told me that she had planned us a romantic picnic for the anniversary, and she didn't realize I could actually make plans with others on our anniversary, so she hadn't planned for that. And although she would have loved for me to make plans, she knew better and had decided to do the work herself this year to avoid being disappointed, and so we could have one romantic day, as things have been quite stressful lately. I told her that I had been open about needing to plan the anniversary together, and since she didn't take any interest, I simply thought that we wouldn't be celebrating this year. She claimed she actually tried planning and realized no good venues were available, and that she had told me this twice and suggested we give up on the party and celebrate by ourselves. I don't remember this being what happened, although I remember that she did say to not have a big party. So I told her she had ducked up our anniversary, and she is at fault. She is extremely upset, and claims that even if I hadn't understood when she said no to the big party, I should have told her that I thought the anniversary is cancelled so she could have clarified things further. And she's saying that I should have known that anniversary is very important to her, and at the very least plan to be with her and get her a thoughtful gift. Am I the a-hole? Yes, the a-hole. You left your wife on your anniversary and you couldn't even be bothered to get her chocolate she could eat. You're a terrible husband. Yes, the a-hole. When you realized it was your anniversary the next day. Okay, dude. You should have canceled your plans immediately. Also, dude, you got her chocolates that she's allergic to, and you're upset she didn't appreciate them. Why would she appreciate something that could give her an allergic reaction? 3 times in a row. He bought something he would eat later 3 times and wanted her to thank him. Yes, the a-hole. You ducked up your anniversary. 1. Who goes and gets chocolate for their wife of 7 years knowing she has a nut allergy without checking to make sure there weren't nuts? 2. You know your wife wanted something special for the 7th anniversary no matter what it was. All I hear is you don't listen to her at all. 3. Regardless if she had planned something or not, you do not plan something on your anniversary day. Work if you have to, but you don't make plans with other people without your wife. Buck up, start listening to your wife, start making her your #1 priority. Right now, she doesn't sound like a priority to you, and that's the fast lane to losing her. Edit to mention. And how dare you not only once, but 3 years in a row get her something that will kill her. #1 thing, you don't care about her at all. My 28 male, childhood best friend, Tom, 28 male, and our other best friend, Kayla, 27 female, have known each other since forever. Went to primary school together and high school. We've stayed in the same neighborhood since we were kids, and we still live 3 blocks apart from each other. Since our teenage years, we have some traditions that we're not willing to compromise. One of those traditions is that we will plan a fishing trip which lasts about 5 days, or 1 week, once or twice a year. Since he got with his wife, he still comes to the fishing trips, but Kayla and I can tell his wife is not too happy about it. But at the end of the day, we don't care, since Tom clearly enjoys it. Tom and his wife have 2 kids now, a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. Since the 5-year-old was born, there were implications that he won't come to the fishing trips anymore. But Kayla and I convinced him how it's no big deal, and it's just 2 weeks. After his 2-year-old was born, same conversation again. We could tell his wife was nagging him about it. So it's around time for a fishing trip again. Kayla and I visited Tom a couple of days ago and discussed our plans. Then his wife spoke and said we can't arrange a fishing trip at those days we wanted to because she's got a trip with her friends as well, and someone has to stay behind with the kids. Tom got frustrated and told her, "Didn't you think about discussing it with me first?" To which she replied that she doesn't have to, since he never discusses his plans with her. He kept telling her to postpone the trip for another time, and she refused. Kayla and I got so mad at how aggressive Tom's wife was, and we could tell she was being petty, and I told her to remember her place and stay out of our ducking business, and that this is a tradition we've had since we were teens, and her little girl's trip could wait for another time. Kayla agreed with me. But Tom all of a sudden went from scolding his wife to yelling at me for daring to speak to his wife like that. I was shocked, because I thought he'd appreciate me standing up for him, but apparently I offended him. He then kicked me and Kayla out of their house and demands an apology. I'm extremely confused because I thought we were on the same page. Am I the a-hole? Yes, the a-hole. To remember her place. And what is that? Completely subservient to her husband? Tom is a dad and husband now. Those have to be higher priorities than you and Kayla. People have to accept that different stages in life require different habits. And 5 days is a long ducking time to leave a spouse alone with 2 toddlers. On top of that, why does Tom have priority for going away for a weekend over his wife? You guys are a bunch of selfish a-holes clinging to a childhood tradition without thinking about how it affects another human being. Well, 3 actually. Yes, the a-hole for your lack of respect for Tom and his wife, and your own selfish refusal to compromise. If you plan to maintain this friendship going forward, accept Tom's commitments as husband and father.